Beloved, listen. You've been taught that to be wanted, you must perform, that you must speak louder, laugh sweeter, bend softer, smile wider. You've been told that to attract a man, you must explain yourself, prove yourself, beg with your words, plead with your silence. But the truth that your spirit has been aching to remember is this. Your presence is already magnetic. Your being is already an altar. Your silence already sings louder than 1,000 tongues. You don't have to chase. You don't have to convince. You don't have to decorate yourself in borrowed masks just to be seen. When you stand in the still power of knowing who you are, when you remember that the divine spark in you was never designed to dim, men will be drawn not to the sound of your voice, but to the weight of your spirit. Because presence is louder than words, wholeness is more alluring than beauty, and a woman rooted in her own worth is irresistible without speaking a single syllable. And if you are listening to me now, it is because the ancestors, the angels, and the God within you want you to finally hear this truth. You are already enough. Without performing, without persuading, without saying anything at all. Beloved, let me sit here with you for a moment, because I can feel the ache in your chest. I can feel the exhaustion of a woman who has tried too hard, given too much, spoken words that landed on deaf ears, prayed prayers that seemed unanswered, and bent herself into shapes she was never designed to hold. You have believed that if you just said the right thing, if you explained yourself one more time, if you softened your no into a yes or turned your silence into pleading, then maybe, just maybe, he would see you, he would choose you, he would stay. But let me tell you something from the deepest place of truth I know. You were never meant to be chosen by shrinking. You were never meant to be loved by hustling. You were never meant to attract anyone by leaving yourself behind. I remember a young woman, her spirit heavy like yours. She came to me with tears in her eyes, saying, Miss Iyanla, I don't understand. I gave him everything. I supported him. I lifted him up. I was there through the storm. But when I look at him, I don't see him chasing me. I see me chasing him. And when I looked into her eyes, I didn't just see her pain. I saw generations of women behind her, women who were told their worth lived in how quiet they could be, how pretty they could look, how much they could give, how well they could endure. I saw grandmothers who silenced themselves, mothers who swallowed their truth, sisters who begged to be chosen. And now she was standing there carrying the same broken inheritance. And I said to her, beloved, don't you know that a queen never runs after her crown? The crown belongs to her because she is the crown. You don't attract a man by twisting yourself into knots. You don't attract a man by proving your love. You attract him by standing in your wholeness, by being so rooted in your truth that he feels your presence before you open your mouth. See, beloved, men may look at your face, they may admire your body, but what draws them in, the thing they cannot turn away from, is your energy, that invisible current that flows when you are at peace with yourself, when you are unbothered by his actions, when you know that whether he comes or whether he goes, you are still whole. That is attraction. That is magnetism. That is power. And the tragedy is not that so many women don't have it. It is that so many women have forgotten. They buried it beneath the weight of what if he doesn't want me? They buried it beneath the fear of being alone. They buried it under the rubble of I'm not enough. But hear me, your enoughness is not negotiable. Your enoughness is not up for debate. You were born enough, and no rejection, no abandonment, no silence, no betrayal can ever undo that. Let me tell you a story. There was once a woman who walked into a room, and without saying a word, the entire space shifted. People turned, people leaned in. Not because she was the loudest, not because she was the most beautiful, not because she wore the fanciest clothes, but because her spirit was undeniable. She wasn't desperate. She wasn't chasing. She wasn't performing. She was simply present. And presence is a sermon all by itself. Presence speaks before words ever leave your lips. That is what I want you to reclaim, beloved. The presence that says, I am here, I am worthy, I am whole. And I know some of you are saying, but Iyanla, how do I do that? How do I stop chasing? How do I stop explaining? How do I stop begging? You do it by first being willing to sit in the silence of your own company. You do it by being willing to face the fear of not being chosen and discovering that even when no one else chooses you, God already has. You do it by remembering that solitude is not punishment. It is preparation. It is the place where you learn to fill your own cup so that when a man comes, he is not drinking from your survival. He is drinking from your overflow. Beloved, attracting a man without saying anything is not about games. It is not about manipulation. It is not about withholding. It is about embodiment. It is about alignment. It is about you being so rooted in who you are that your energy does the speaking. Men can smell desperation. They can feel when you have abandoned yourself, and they can feel when you are standing fully in your worth. The one who is aligned will not be able to resist the pull of your light. And the one who is not will run. And when he runs, don't you dare chase. Don't you dare question your light. Don't you dare think that his inability to receive you is a reflection of your value. Sometimes rejection is God's redirection. Sometimes absence is God's protection. Sometimes the silence of a man is the loudest confirmation that he was never meant to carry your heart. I want you to breathe with me right now. Put your hand over your heart. Feel that rhythm? That is life reminding you that you are still here. That is God reminding you that you are not done. That is your spirit reminding you that no matter who left, who ignored, who didn't see, who didn't choose, you are still whole. And when you walk into the world with that wholeness, when you embody that truth, you won't have to speak to be seen. You won't have to beg to be chosen. You won't have to perform to be loved, because love will find you. Worthy love, aligned love, the kind of love that doesn't demand you to shrink, the kind of love that honors the silence and the power in you. So, my beloved, let me leave you with this. Stop rehearsing your explanations. Stop chasing after what doesn't recognize you. Stop speaking just to fill the silence and instead stand, breathe, root yourself in the knowing that you are already magnetic, already divine, already irresistible without saying a word. You don't need to explain. You don't need to convince. You don't need to perform. You are enough. You are more than enough. And any man who is worthy of you will see it, not because of what you said, but because of who you are. Beloved, close your eyes with me for a moment. Let the world be quiet just for now. No phone, no noise, no memory of what they said or how they left or what they didn't give. Just you here breathing. Can you hear it? That sound beneath the silence, the rhythm that has carried you through every heartbreak, every disappointment, every betrayal, that is your heart. And it is still beating, which means you are not done, which means God has not abandoned you, which means your story has not ended. I want you to know this. You have never been unworthy. You have never been too much or not enough. Those lies were planted in you by broken people who could not see their own light. You took on their blindness as your truth. But hear me today. You are not their blindness. You are not their rejection. You are not the leaving, the silence, the unanswered call. You are the breath. You are the light. You are the one who rose again, even when your spirit was heavy with sorrow. And maybe you forgot. Maybe you laid down your crown when you thought love would only come if you carried the weight of proving yourself. But let me tell you something sacred. Your crown is still here, right here. It never left you. You don't have to search for it in his arms. You don't have to earn it through his approval. You were born with it. And tonight, as you hear these words, I want you to place that crown back on your head in your spirit. Straighten your back, lift your chin, and remember who you are. Because the woman who forgets her worth will always chase, but the woman who remembers, the woman who remembers makes the world turn toward her. She doesn't demand, she doesn't beg, she simply is. And in her being, she attracts what is hers by right. The love that honors her, the peace that nourishes her, the joy that cannot be taken away. So let me speak this blessing over you now. May you stop running after closed doors. May you stop begging where your soul is starving. May you stop rehearsing words to convince someone who has already shown you they cannot see. Instead, may you rest. May you rise. May you remember. May you know that you are held, you are guided, you are chosen, not by him, but by God. And that is enough. That has always been enough. Every time you doubt, put your hand back over your heart. Feel that rhythm. That is life saying, I still want you. That is love saying, you are already mine. That is God saying, daughter, you are whole. Carry that truth like breath. Carry it like a shield. Carry it like a prayer whispered over your grandmother's lips before you were even born. And when the tears come, and they will, let them fall. Let them wash away the residue of every time you settled, every time you begged, every time you forgot. And then, beloved, wipe your face, stand up and walk as the woman you were always created to be, whole, worthy, enough. Now rise, queen. Rise not because he sees you, but because you see you. Rise not because he chose you, but because you remember you were chosen from the beginning. Rise because the world has been waiting for you to remember your light. Rise because it is time. And when you rise, may you never again shrink. May you never again chase. May you never again question the crown that sits on your head. Walk in your worth. Walk in your truth. Walk in your power. And let every step be a sermon. Let every breath be a reminder. Let every moment whisper, I am enough. I am whole. I am love.